happy and we're singing and we're coloring. Give me a high five.
It is a new year. The Philadelphia Eagles played, the Commanders played, Dallas played, Giants did something. So every year with the best of enemies, we've done this, right? We've come on and we've talked about our team's wins and losses. And this year we have a new face. So we decided we're going to run it back and do the exact same thing this year. So I'm not going to no intro needed. Y'all know who my brothers are. Y'all know why we here. Hey, George.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, guys? You guys okay? It's doing well?
We're good. So, I mean, I don't know how y'all want to do this. Do y'all want to talk? How about this? Well, I'll start it off. I'll give y'all just a synopsis of what Eagles. And we have questions about the Eagles. We didn't look the greatest, right? We didn't look the greatest. We did win, but we didn't look the greatest. So I'll start with the Eagles. James, you can take the Cowboys, and then we'll finale it off with my guy George. And he can take what you got to take, and then we'll
save the best for last.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. We love you, George. We love you. Just remember.
Team upside. But all good. Yeah, we're good.
look. I'll start it off because I already know what people are gonna say. I already know how people are gonna feel. The Eagles, they did win, but again, I feel like I'm saying the same thing I did last year after week 1 and week 2 and week 3. It wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win. I will say, and I said this off the show with James right before we got on here, I do feel like our defense, although we gave up 29 points, looked a lot better, just playing wise, just like how it all played out than they did last year. I felt like they were a lot more coached, even offensively. I felt like the schemes were better. I mean, for lack of better terms, I felt like there was just more put into our team, more put into this game and this game plan than there was last year. And it looks like our chat is working again, so we'll get that going. But yeah, so I feel like this year was a lot better in a sense of it looked a lot better. Obviously, a lot of mistakes, right? Jalen Hurts with the 2 interceptions, the fumble loss. You don't want to see that. There's a lot of things we got to fix. It's always good to come out with the win. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be real with you. Like, if any Eagles fans just says, oh, it is what it is. It's week 1. Yeah, it is week 1, but you look at last year. You look at what happened last year. A pattern where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes a pattern is more than just pretty colors. Sometimes it tells you something, right? So I'm a little bit nervous in that sense. And I'm sure James will remind me, of what happened last year with Jalen Hurts. But it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. We won. And I'm hoping that next week, obviously we have kind of a mini bye with the, Monday night game. I'm hoping that the week 1 was really just a summation of us being in Brazil, not having, preseason games, just trying to figure everything out. Because if that's what it is, being able to put up the amount of points we did, as ugly as we played on offense, says something about this team. I mean, Saquon, people are saying it in chat, he balled the hell out. Saquon balled out, and that was a moment. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, and I ask this seriously. I don't know if you ever had a moment where you look at a player that you followed since, damn near high school, right? I mean, he's from the Philly area, from Pennsylvania. So I followed this kid for a long time. See him go to the Giants, it sucked, right? Then to see him come home, I feel like he came home and he balled the hell out. So there was a lot of good, there was a lot of bad. But at the end of the day, the Eagles did win, so I do feel good about that. If y'all have any questions about anything specific, feel free. You know what I'm saying? But y'all let me know.
Well, okay. Well, let me jump in here right quick. Let me jump in here right quick because I'm just saying, hey, like I said, first of all, I'm gonna give Saquon did run his ass off. He played a very good game. He looked explosive. That touchdown he caught out the backfield, that was a very good play out the backfield. AJ Brown got over 100 yards. Had a good game. You could see some potential there, right? But I'm still looking at that defense, bro. And yeah, I know where you said it was the offense put you in bad spots, but it just looked like when Jordan Love and them had the ball, you got to see that there was a lot of Green Bay receivers that were dropping the ball, a lot of drop balls in that game from the receivers. And those were critical first downs. And it just seemed like whenever they wanted to go against y'all and get first downs, there was no stopping them. Remember, they had injuries in the backfield as well. So, I just want you to know, how do you feel about, you said you feel better than most about the defense. What do you feel good about the defense, and what do you feel like needs to be worked on? Pass rush, linebackers, secondary. What's going on with that defense already getting 29 points put on y'all, and y'all won late, y'all. It's not like y'all won early.
Great point.
I thought this was about George. No, look, I honestly, like I said, I felt like they looked coached, and I like it. It's not like a football answer, like it's not like a broadcast, and like it just looked way better. Like, yeah, we did give up a lot of points. There was some bad plays. Most of it was chunk plays. I will say that as well. Most of the stuff that we gave up were chunk plays, which you got to stop. I mean, yeah, they definitely missed some tackles. They definitely got lucky, a couple of times with, you could even look at the penalties. I mean, they had a crap load of penalties. So I can do it too. So yeah, I mean, you can look at it both ways. You can look at it from the fact of just, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's luck. I mean, at the end of the day, all these guys go out there, they get paid, and you got to catch the ball. If you don't catch the ball, that's on you. I mean, we were playing on the same field. The one thing I will say, and I even said it when we were talking in the chat, I feel like when people started really saying, oh, look at that field, the field sucks. Once the Packers started slipping, we were slipping the whole damn game. Nobody said a thing about it. So there was a lot of things that happened on both sides. I mean, that you can kind of say, if this didn't happen for the Packers, they probably wouldn't be in it. If this didn't happen for the Eagles, they probably wouldn't be in it. So I think luck goes both ways. I just think that you look at the linebacker play, you look at Bond, right? Bond was really impressive. I think Bond was very, very impressive. Nakobe Dean was a lot better than he has been, and I think
that's a pretty good game. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, and Nakobe, I've said it for a long time. The biggest thing with him is staying healthy, and he hasn't done that over the past couple of years. So if he could get healthy, if he could stay healthy, I think we could be good. So it wasn't great, but I will give you, I'll give you that. It wasn't great. There was definitely some luck involved. But I think it looked a lot better in the sense of they looked coached. Like last year, there was a lot of times where I felt like they weren't even coached. I felt like they just came out and were like, all right, what do? We just stop them, right? That's all we got to do. And it just looked different. I don't know how to really quantify it, you know what I'm saying? But like, it just looked different. So hopefully I'm right, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. For one, I think the NFL going to Brazil, that was largely a fail, right? The field, how bad was the field? And how dangerous was it for the players? That was crazy out there, right? So
I mean, you could attribute what happened with Jordan Love to that a little bit too. I mean, a little slippery guys were slipping around. Jalen Carter kind of slid into his leg. I mean, it was, you never want to see that.
I'm not gonna lie, Friday. I thought it was kind of dope having Friday night football, Thursday, Friday. That was kind of dope to kind of start the season off that way. I didn't mind that at all. So that was cool. Going back to the Eagles, though, I'm always gonna be honest with you. Walking away, Saquon Barkley was a good fit, right? I think that was an awesome fit. The whole Dabo, the Giants, they're probably be like hurting in their feelings right now. After you guys all watch Hard Knocks, y'all saw how upset it was for him to even go to the Philadelphia. That's a good fit over there. AJ Brown's a bully. Him and Jair Alexander were kind of going back and forth, and AJ Brown kind of shut him up a little bit. But honestly, I think the defense does look suspect, Joe. I know you're kind of optimistic at the little, the green colored lenses a little bit. They look kind of shady a little bit, look kind of scary a little bit. Yeah, Cook. I mean, Jordan Love was out there. He was cooking. There's that one play, Gardner Johnson. He fell down like a 70-yard bomb over there. I think Jaden Reed walked away with 145 yards and a touchdown, I believe. 84 yards for Josh Jacobs running on you guys too. The defense is still a little bit of a concern. Jalen Hurts looked a little bit. He looked like he had some like bullets in the, whatever. He looked like dents in the shields. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he had some turnover. He didn't look comfortable under center. But you still have time to kind of work around a little bit. So you guys can shake it off. But I was looking for my boy Josh Doxson. He didn't really do anything on the field for y'all too. I don't know how y'all feel about that right now.
Yeah, Jahan. I mean,
John Doxson.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I even said this on my show before the game. You're gonna look at that and be like, I can't believe X player didn't go off, because there's so many weapons. I mean, it's going to be hard to really, and especially we just got him, like 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. Mm-hmm. So, you got to incorporate him. I think that'll be good. He was utilized in ways that obviously don't show up in the box score because he was out there, he was moving around.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing. I loved seeing all that motion. Like it was
not
it just
not to
looked like
cut
a
you
totally
off, Joe.
different team.
Not to cut you off, Joe, but the command, the podcast, when they said right
That's my
here, I'm
point.
looking at the comments. He said they miss Kelsey at center. He ain't
True.
lying because I saw
100%.
Jalen Hurts talk.
100%.
I saw Jalen Hurts talking to what's his name again? Cam Jurgens. I heard him talking to him multiple times, and one time it looked like he was chastising
I saw
him.
that. I saw that.
He was like in his face, like, "Hey, you need to get it together. That tush push ain't the same no more without Kelsey. We know that for sure. It ain't the tush push no more." And I'm just saying that's something we're going to be looked at because it wasn't like Green Bay wasn't getting in that backfield too. Those guys were putting pressure on Jalen Hurts. They were getting in that backfield. They were getting sacks. They were making him uncomfortable in that pocket. So, that's something to look at with that offensive line.
My thing is, how much of this goes into the factor of the Green Bay Packers being a good team? I mean, that, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think that gets
they're a good team.
They're a good offensive team. A good offensive team.
I mean, defensively, I don't think they're not. Were they? I mean, they were pretty bad last year. But at the end of the day, I think that defensive tackle that they had, if you want to look at specifics, the DT they had was a very, very, I'm losing his name right now, but he's a really, really good defensive tackle. Rashawn Gary's a pretty good defensive player.
Not bad.
They got defensive players out there. And Cam Jurgens, he made mistakes. He definitely did. But as a whole, our offensive line at least looks like they can get it together.
Let me tell you, I love this one comment, by the way. JB2 is a hilarious comment. Christian Watson is buns. He always ends up with a touchdown, though. I don't understand it. That's exactly right. I don't know. That's 100% true. That's like the most accurate fact I've seen. Exactly. A honk out there. And I also want to he's Packers fan, exactly. I also want to give a shout out to my boy Command This Podcast. By the way, if you guys are watching this, you guys will love his show. He puts on like hip hop, top 5 rap artists. He's a great, awesome podcast guy. You should definitely check him out. Command This Podcast. I really appreciate that.
That's dope.
Cool.
Shout out to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that. I think that a lot of times it does get lost that we played a very good team. I mean, the Green Bay Packers were talked about as
they're a good team. We're not saying they're a very good team.
No,
they weren't.
Top 7 team. Yes, they were. I've seen that.
And we would, but we also, right. That we ain't talking about them, Joe. We talking about us. We ain't talking about them, Joe. A lot of people are on the hype train because of last year. Everybody was saying that they came into the playoffs. They hit a hot little streak, and then they came into the playoffs hot. Everybody was saying they were young, they were inexperienced. So it wasn't nobody pumping no Green Bay Packers like they were just a top team. This from what they saw going to the playoffs last year. But they're a good team. But let's not hype them like, ooh, they top 5.
Yeah. If you follow ball, the Packers started off slow to start the year at the beginning of the year last year, and they got hot near the end of the year, and that's where Jordan Love took off. I mean, they had high hopes this year, but they are a young team, young wide receivers, so it was a good game. You guys should have won. You guys were the favorite to win the game, right? So you guys won, and that's what it was. So
yeah, I think Atlanta will be a good test for us.
Won the game.
I think that'll be a fun. Yeah, that's all you can really do. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I don't know why I'm getting attacked. I feel like this was supposed to be about like Jordan's team, like and everybody coming at me in the comments.
Talk about the Eagles real quick.
Damn, bro.
I say you said let's talk about it. I mean,
damn, bro. I'm gonna change the title to "Hey Joe, what's up? How you doing?" But we got 200 people in the chat, man. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. Share it. We got people on Twitch. We got people on Twitter. So wherever you are, share it. Show love and good love, good stuff. Keep the comments coming because the comments are actually kind of making me laugh right now. Yeah, y'all kind of killing me right now.
I love it.
But y'all got any more questions about my birds? I look, at the end of the day, I think that we're gonna get it together. I think that this year is different. I do, and it could be the green tint. It definitely could. But I feel good about this team, okay? I just don't know what it is. Cam Jurgens does need to get it together. And to be real with you, I like that Jalen Hurts was in his face because reporters and people were saying, oh, he doesn't say anything. He's too calm. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted, right? You want him to be in these guys' face. You want him to be a leader. That's fine. If that's how you're going to do it, if Cam took it some type of way, it's on Cam to go to him as a man and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not when the lights are on, but we could talk in the back. But maybe not in front of Cam. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that, but it is what it is. That we hate your team. I want to talk about the Cowboys. Can we talk about the Cowboys now?
We can talk about the Cowboys.
Talk to me. Talk. I
You
mean,
ready to talk? Okay. Well,
if
well,
y'all
first,
got any more
everybody
questions, I don't
knows.
want to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the offensive line a little shaky. Saquon Barkley look good. Your receivers look good. Jalen Hurts, you know, he coming off of last year on the low, and he okay, but they won the game, and he played. You know, he won the game. He helped win the game, so that's good. But that defense, bro, your defense is suspect right now. I can't give
We
them
gonna
no
see.
props right now. They suspect right now. That front, Jalen Carter is good, but I ain't gonna lie. I will agree with you with Zach Bond. I thought he played very well in that game,
Yeah.
and N'Kobe Dean showed up too.
He almost had a
He
pick
had
six,
he
man. He almost had a good play.
yeah he looked okay. I liked how N'Kobe Dean played. So you know, I'm gonna give you your flowers on those guys, but that front, that secondary, although I like Mitchell, it's still in works. And Chauncey Gardner Johnson is overrated. We attacking him all day.
Chauncey's he's one of those dudes that he's gonna make big plays and he's gonna give up big plays, and he's a 50,
because you
he's
talk
a
too much,
walking
Chauncey.
50-50. I do love him. I do. We knew what we were getting. I mean, it is what it is. Like, but in his defense, in my opinion, what happened against the 49ers, we might have still lost, but it wouldn't have happened how it happened. I'll say that much.
Okay.
I feel like he would have been the one player on that field that would have been probably just yelling at the players. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have looked soft. We looked soft last year. So I would have paid billions of dollars for that. So it is what it is. Like, that's more what we got him for. But he's a walking 50-50, man. He's either going to make a huge play for you or he's going to give up a touchdown. Like, it is what it is. But I can't deny it. I can't fight for my defense yet. But I do feel more optimistic than I did going into that game now. You know what I'm saying? I will say that. I'm not going to fight you and say we're going to be top 5, but they look all right. They look all right.
Falcons look vulnerable too. They didn't look that good last game. They look pretty bad.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. If y'all don't roll them, the Falcons, then we're really talking. If y'all don't roll through them, we really talking.
Hey, he might get a new Achilles by the time he comes to Philly, or you know what I'm saying? Like, why we got to roll through him? Maybe we like to keep them close. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? We keeping the NFL afloat right now with these close games. That's what the fans want to see, James. That's why we doing it.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
It is what it is. But talk to me about your Cowboys, man. Y'all looked good in the first half.
Defense looked great in the second half. I mean, so that's all. I told you, defense wins championships. You know that, Joe. I'm a defensive guy. That's what I'm about. So I'm all about defense. But first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, Dak Prescott. Somebody asked me in there. He got signed right before game time, which was crazy. Jerry Jones knows how to do it in the media and do it big. It's always got to be about Jerry Jones. So he does it right when everybody can talk about it. You know, obviously, you know, I'm happy Dak got his money. I'm going to definitely say that. He got his money. I'm glad he's got the agent that he had in Todd France. Todd France stuck them boys like I liked he did. I love how he stuck them boys and gave $231 million guaranteed $1 over Deshaun Watson. You know, so he's here for the foreseeable future. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's the best quarterback that we have going forward. And he came off his MVP type year. And I feel like it's only right. People are saying, oh, he doesn't deserve this, deserve that. But you know what? I put up playoff records from everybody in there. And the only one successful in the playoffs has been Pat Mahomes. I think he's the only one besides one other player has a winning record in the playoffs, period. So all them Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, even though he went to the Super Bowl, he still has a losing record. A lot of these top quarterbacks that y'all keep on talking about lose. Yes, he has a losing playoff record. He's 2-3. Yeah, Dak has a losing. No, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, gotcha.
So because I'm not counting the Super Bowl. You're right.
Yeah. So when you look at it, it's not an easy thing to do in the playoffs. So, but like I said, you got the man back at the helm, and it's full go. Let's see what happens in these 4 years. But let's get to this game with the Cleveland Browns. Everybody wants to dog the Browns like they wasn't a good team. Now they went to the playoffs, and everybody was like, Browns are legit. Now all of a sudden we beat their heads in. Nah, they ain't good. But okay. We know about Deshaun Watson. We're gonna agree and say he's a shell of himself. He's not the Jalen Hurts he used to be. I mean, the Deshaun Watson he used to be.
Yeah.
That is night and day. You feel me? But honestly, coming into the game, we weren't afraid of him. We just wanted to see if he was still that guy that we saw last year, and he is. So once we saw that, I just felt like we're gonna beat this team because obviously they had Nick Chubb out. Jerome Ford, we weren't probably scared of him. But when I really look at the game, Dak had a really good first half. Obviously, you got to look at the whole pretty much starting front offense. Didn't get a snap in preseason. So there was going to be rust. CeeDee Lamb was out all training camp. So there's going to be some rust. But you look at it, he had 10 targets, caught 5, had fly for like 76, had the big 34-yard catch. Brandon Cooks, coming off of last year toward the middle of the season, he started really turning up with the receptions and touchdowns. Got like 7 to 8 touchdowns at the midseason on, and you saw he got the touchdown in the game. Running game, I'm still a little worried about the running game. Everybody was hyping Ezekiel Elliott, but, I will say he did look fresh. He's a power runner. He was good blocking. We need him inside that 10. You saw he got the touchdown, so, we're excited about that. Well, I'm not, but Dallas land is. But I would like to see maybe Dalvin Cooks maybe next week because I don't trust a Rico Dowdle. So I'd like to see a Dalvin Cook within Ezekiel Elliott, maybe mixed with some Deuce Vaughn. But I thought Dak played well in the first half. Obviously, we saw in the second half they were missing. But you guess what? When you got one of the best field goal kickers in the league, it does help. Special teams does matter in this league. And when you can get near that 30 to 40-yard line and your kicker is damn near automatic, it really does help your team. So that's really good. But let's jump on his defense. Mike Zimmer, Grandpa Zimmer, as I call him, he came in, he got some guys in that he wanted. But I think the biggest additions that I liked was getting Jordan Phillips and Linval Joseph. Now, I know they're older, especially Linval Joseph. Y'all had him, Joe. I think last year y'all had him. But what do we need him to do? Right, but what did we need him to do, and what did y'all need him to do? Plug that middle. That's all you need him to do. Stop that run, plug that middle, and that's what you need to do. And they put Jordan Phillips at the 3 tech, so he's playing. He was more pass rushing in that game, and he had a big hit on Deshaun Watson where Amari Cooper dropped that. Could have been a would-be touchdown. He had a big hit. But the thing I kept on saying from Linval Joseph and Jordan Phillips, they were crushing that middle. They were holding up those blocks. They were allowing the Eric Kendricks and the Damarion Overshown, who had a fantastic game. Both of those guys had a fantastic game. But, I was excited about seeing Damarion Overshown because I thought he could be hurt guy. He had the knee out. He was out last year. He was having some hip issues, but he came out like a gangbuster. Had like 11 tackles, had the big sack on the 4th down. I love his speed, but one more thing, more than I like anything, he's very instinctive and he doesn't wait. He was really pushing it. And then honestly, we got Eric Kendricks over LVE. That's like night and day. Eric Kendricks had 2 sacks, had an interception, 9 tackles, was all over the field. And that's what we needed. We need somebody who could come downhill when somebody is taking on those blocks to come in there and blow up those plays. And that's what we needed him to do, and he did. And then we got the young rookie and Kalen Carson. Deron Bland is out for the very foreseeable future. And he came in, obviously he had some rookie things go on, but he came in playing confident. He came in playing like he wasn't scared. He wasn't backing down from any challenges, and I really like that. DeMarcus Lawrence, who I give hell all day, all night, he had 2.5 sacks. I don't know how that happened, but he had 2.5 sacks, but he looked hella energetic. He looked fast on that field. And then Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. He got his sack. He was in that backfield. He led the team with 11 pressures. DeMarcus Lawrence was behind him with 7. And I like the rookie Marshawn Nealon, who he got from Western Michigan. He won't be sack guy, but man, he's super strong. He set the edge really well. And I'm just saying our linebackers, I feel better about our linebackers. Our linebackers were trash last year, and it's night and day with that. And if we can continue to get that, Mozzie played like 23 snaps. He was holding the pocket like he's supposed to. But if we can continue to have a Jordan Phillips and Linval Joseph still be good, that's what's really going to help the team. Because if we can continue to stop the run, that's going to be better for the D. And if you really look how Zimmer was really coming at Watson, he was really confusing him and changing up the defense and showing looks and then disappearing looks. So I'm really excited about having Zimmer. That's the biggest thing I was excited about. Cowboys go in, get the victory. What questions you got?
I just want to highlight JB2, by the way, in the comments. He's hilarious, by the way. He's a funny dude. I love him. He's hilarious. He's talking about, like, he had a funny comment that Deshaun Watson should wear a shiesty because he basically robbed the Browns. He did, man. So, yeah, he did. The Browns.
He should just retire. Just retire.
Yeah,
you got your money. Just retire, bro. It's over.
Yeah, for sure. He's washed, man. So you got to fill me in, James, because basically you guys are playing at the same time that I was watching the game. Obviously, you're very confident. You're feeling really good that the Cowboys did pretty well. But I'm curious about this, though, right? Dak Prescott threw the ball 32 times for 179 yards. It sounds like he didn't push the ball downfield. What was that all about?
He actually, you got to look at, we had a rookie center. We had a rookie left tackle, and that left tackle was going against Myles Garrett. And if you looked at the beginning of the game, Myles Garrett got a big sack early. So if you watched it, Dak Prescott got smarter and started really moving Ezekiel Elliott over, moving Dowdell so he can get a chip, moving the tight end over to get a chip. So it was a lot more, you put more people to help your offensive line. So I think that's why the pocket wasn't really, or he wasn't really going deep. He had the one ball over Denzel Ward for 34 yards. But I think it was a situation where once we got up early with the field position, I think this really the defense over. And I think, it was just an efficient game. It wasn't a game where we don't need you to throw 350 yards. There's sometimes those games where we don't need you to throw crazy in this game. This is a game where our defense is really taking over. First week, guys haven't been, CeeDee Lamb and him haven't been together. The offense hasn't been together, so I expected a lot of rust. So I think they were really trying to really go underneath. I thought CeeDee looked good for having no training camp. He was targeted 10 times, had 5 catches, and had the big catch 34 yards on Denzel. I thought he looked real good for having no training camp. So, and no injuries, no soft tissue injuries. That's the biggest thing I was happy about. None of those injuries because you missed camp. But I thought CeeDee looked very well. We probably a little worried Jake Ferguson got hurt, our number 1 tight end. But we saw that he escaped a major injury, and I think it looks week to week with him. So that's the biggest thing. We didn't want to lose him for any significant amount of time. But I was okay because Dak was really looking good in that first half. But, Cleveland tightened up a little bit. They do have a good defense. It's not like they don't. They have a good defense. Drives were getting stalled. But when your defense can come back on the field and shut them down, it makes it a lot better for your team.
So I have a question, but because my question is probably going to spark a little bit of an argument. So preemptively, I'm going to give you have a super chat real quick. So I'll let you read that first. Answer him because it might be a second before I get back to these chats.
All right. Shout out to my dog, Keystone Cowboy, for the $9.99 holla. He said, if I was Mike McCarthy, I'd rotate them running backs to confuse the defensive game plan. We got too many styles that can fit the West Coast offense. I feel it as well. But I really think, I like Rico. But, he had 8 carries for like 32 yards. He has a good initial burst. But honestly, you got Dalvin Cook there, right? And I know he's older, but Ezekiel Elliott's older. But if you really watch Dalvin Cook from last year, he still has juice. He still has speed. You already got a bruising back. Use that fast back and get him out in some space and see what he can do. And then you can use your little guy and Deuce Vaughn and sprinkle him in some plays. But as much as I like Rico Dowdell, I want to see, the little guy. I want to see Dalvin Cook and I want to see Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's just a better combination this year.
Yeah, so shout out to him for that. Now, quickly, and I'm glad that we have George here and we have 300 people in the chat. So you guys are all witness to this right now. All right. And if you've watched the show last year, you've heard this plenty of times. I was told that when the quarterback gets the ball taken out of his hand in the second half, that means that they don't trust them. So I understand you had a little bit of a lead, but not enough of a lead for Dak to not do anything in the second half. I can't.
Where do we take first of all, where do we take the ball out of his hand? Ezekiel Elliott had 10 carries. But Ezekiel Elliott had 10 carries. Rico Dowdell had 8. Where did we take the ball out their hands?
So, okay. All right. So with that information given to me, why then at halftime did Dak Prescott have 140, I think, passing yards, and then end the game with less than 180, like 178? That sounds like I thought it might have been taken out of his hand. That sounds worse now.
No, damn well you just picking. That's all you're doing. You just picking right now, Joe, because I don't believe you. Because I ain't no way in heck that you actually believe that. We was up. What was that? No, it wasn't. No, if it wouldn't be Hurts, because this is a different situation. You know daggone well, you blowing them out at halftime. You are blowing this team out, right? So what's the point of going out there trying to air it out, air it out, air it out? Now let's run the ball a little bit because the running game was not going. It was not going in the first half. So why not? You got the lead. Let's try to get this run game established. And you also got to look at Dallas had 11 penalties in that game. 11 penalties. And that's been one of the problems under Mike McCarthy. Penalties. First downs we got, you get them taken back with bad penalties. But I just feel like it's a situation where Dak wasn't practicing with his other guys. They didn't play all preseason. I felt like there's going to be some rust. But for you to say Dallas took the ball out of his hands against this Browns team after we was whooping their heads, that's only the smart thing to do.
That's what y'all told me after the Giants
don't
game.
do
That's
that.
what y'all told
Don't
me
do
after
that.
the Giants
Don't do
playoff
that.
game. Y'all
Don't
told me
do
they took the.
Don't.
That's what y'all told me. Y'all told me, and against San Fran, y'all told me they took the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hand because he had low passing yards. You said that.
I said that, and when I said that a couple years ago when you played us, yeah, I did say that.
I'm just saying.
Because Jalen Hurts was still learning on the job. Dak Prescott been in the league, just came off a year almost throwing 4,500 yards. Now we're taking the ball out of people. 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,500 yards passing. Now we're taking the ball out of his hands, Joe. Make it make sense.
I'm just saying. That's
make it make sense, Joe.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, but you're not making sense. Thank you, telling Rev. We ain't falling for it. We ain't falling for it. He twisting words. Yep, talk to him. He twisting words, George. He twisting words.
I'm just saying, George, you are a witness. So when this happens, because I'm telling you,
we have a long season ahead of us.
It's going to happen. He's going to tell me how Jalen got the ball taken out of his hand and say, I'm telling you. So now we have it on record.
I'll keep track of that. Noted. I got that.
Janie's right. Janie's right. She said he's reaching.
Nah, trust me. This will all come. This was a long play. It'll all come together in a couple of weeks.
Planting the seed for later in the season. I got
exactly.
Okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I'm planting that defensive seed. I'm planting that defensive seed.
Your boy said, I'm sorry, my bad. Let me just read this real quick. Your boy said, Joe, worry about your QB with 3 turnovers. I will worry about that. How about that?
Because my quarterback didn't have none. Just saying.
James, are you worried about the run game, man? I'm looking at this right now. Ezekiel Elliott, 10 carries, 40 yards, a touchdown. Zeke always going to get a touchdown. I feel like he's just a goal line back. They're going to plug him in there. Like, was that like a 1-yard run? Like, how did he score that touchdown? I didn't see the game.
It was like a 3-yard dive. Kind of like a delayed draw. But that's what they brought Ezekiel Elliott back for. That's where they struggled at last year. Inside that red zone, inside that 10-yard line, we couldn't score touchdowns. That's one of the reasons why you brought Ezekiel Elliott back. I will say he did look fresher, but yes, I am still concerned. The running game did not get going in that game. I will say Cleveland's defense, once again, is not a bad defense. Cleveland's got a pretty good defense.
And their D-line,
so we can,
they're known for. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, their D-line is one of the better. Like I said, he got a couple plays taken back during penalties that he got some good yardage. Like I said, he has initial bursts. He's not a long guy. He's not a guy that's going to get you those long yards. He gets that initial burst. So, I personally want to see Dalvin Cook. I wanted Dalvin Cook after the 2022 season when Minnesota was talking about getting rid of him. I said, get him before he went to the Jets. They did not. They circled back and got him. And everybody said, oh, man, Dalvin Cooks is done. But really go look at the tape. He did have the injury, but they had Breece Hall. Breece Hall was their man. They had to see if he was coming back from injury yet. Once they found out Breece Hall was good, he was only there for insurance. And they had other young running backs over there in New York. So he wasn't really going to get the time. He was signed there for insurance, not to be the guy. Now you can come over here. Now you can split some carries. You don't have to be the guy that's toting 20, 25 times no more. Let's get you about 15 carries. Get Ezekiel Elliott about 10 carries. Maybe get Deuce Vaughn about 3. That feels better to me. But yes, George, right now, I don't feel good about the running game, and I think they need to insert some Dalvin Cook to give it more juice.
You guys are going to have a committee because I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not trying because he's a Cowboy. Dalvin Cook he's washed, man. He is washed. We'll see. Year, so, yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think he's. I watched the tape. I didn't see washed. I watched the tape. I don't think y'all watched the tape. Y'all saying watched. I don't believe that. Y'all really got to watch that all 22 on Dalvin. Have you watched all 22 on Dalvin though?
he's inefficient. He'll get like 20, 25 carries for like 80 yards. Like he's a bell cow back.
But we're not doing that no more. We're not doing that no more. But that's not what we're doing with Dalvin Cook no more, George.
So he's not explosive. Then what are you going to use him for? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, he still got the juice. If you watch Dalvin Cook, he still had juice out the backfield. He just doesn't have. When you saw him in his elite stages, is when he's cutting in and cutting out. That's when he was elite. Now he's older, so you can't make them cuts no more. So now he more has the straight line speed, but he still has the straight line speed. If your offense can get those holes open, then I feel like he can be effective. But no, he's not the guy. But I'm not going to sit there and say he's washed. You're not giving him 20 to 25 carries. No, Dalvin Cook. You're not doing that in Dallas. You got to do committee, and I'm cool with that. But if you can get him, like I said, about 10, 15 carries, get Ezekiel Elliott about those 10 carries a game, I like that better.
Would you say over under 500 yards this year, fam? Rushing
for Dalvin Cook?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he could probably get maybe 500-600. Ezekiel Elliott can get around the same thing. It's a midi. I don't think there's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher by themselves with Dallas this year.
I'll be surprised if Dalvin Cook finishes the season on the Cowboys for real. I think you guys going to cut him. He's not that good. This is going to be
interesting to
watch. Why would we? That doesn't make sense for us to cut him, in my opinion, when you don't have anybody behind. Rico Dowdell is injured guy. He's a guy that's always injured, and you damn sure ain't trusting no little ass Duvon.
Yeah.
And I like how y'all not giving a lot of questions because we whooped ass. Y'all not got a lot of questions. Y'all ain't got it. Yeah, we whooped ass. Y'all ain't got it. Yeah, we whooped that ass.
Y'all defense went crazy. I mean, the only thing I will say, and I'm gonna be real with you. My girl asked me about Dak, and she was like, "Why they give him all that money?" And I told her, I was like, "Listen, they are in a weird. I'm gonna actually be really nice right now. I was like, they're in a really weird position right now, and he is a very good quarterback. It is what it is. He didn't do great in that game, though. I think that's something that has to be truthfully said. It wasn't an amazing game, but it's week one. But it's week one, so the same grace I'll give my quarterback, I'll give your quarterback the same thing because it is.
My quarterback didn't have 3 turnovers. My quarterback didn't have 3 turnovers.
I'm still giving him the same grace. That I'm saying it's just week one, but under 200 yards passing, that's kind of. And most of those went to CD. I mean, when your defense,
what are you supposed to do when your defense? How many games have we seen Jalen Hurts? Please don't do that. How many games did we see Jalen Hurts? 210, 220. That man was not throwing over 250 yards in a game.
He also has the run game. He also has his own run game. So you have
okay. So now, so that's the run. Now we're doing that. Now it's the run game, Joe.
No, it's the totality of it. It's the totality of it. If he's running for 100 yards, passing for 200, that's a good damn day from your quarterback.
He wasn't doing that last year, though, Joe.
He
wasn't doing that last year, Joe. He was not. He was not running. He was not running
in MVP conversations until they had that fall apart. He was the one winning the games for us.
Was he dominating those games, Joe? Passing wise?
Not passing wise, no. He's not a pass first guy. But what I'm saying is 178. It is what it is. He's a run first quarter. I don't know. 178 is a lot less when you don't have any running yards. Did he have any rushing yards? Did he do anything for
so what you're telling me is if you're a top elite quarterback and you don't throw over 200 yards and your defense shuts that team out, you're not elite. Is that what you're telling me?
I didn't say that. I ain't say that. See, James, George, you see how he tried to switch my words? Because I did not say that. I did not say that. See, you can't do that this year. We got a third party. No, I did not say that. What I'm saying is I'll give him the grace. I will say it's just week one. It is what it is. He didn't have a preseason or anything like that. He just signed his contract, right? But 178 is not much yards. There's a quarterback we're going to be talking about in a couple seconds here, that have more passing yards than him and is a rush first quarterback.
So because he had more passing yards.
We'll talk about that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Joe, hey, let's just all say Joe is reaching. He ain't got nothing else to go on because we beat the Browns' heads in. and he ain't got nothing else to talk
George
about,
got
so
my
he
back.
reaching.
Something.
He just reaching.
They're going off. I can't get about 2 cents in right here. Yeah.
Hey, George, just tell him the truth. Just tell the truth, George.
I always tell the truth. We're good, man. We're good. We're all good. We're good. I think whatever. We're good. Let's talk about the Commanders.
Let's just move on to the Commanders.
Right now. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, let's just go on these Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh man, we having too much fun.
Yeah, so I don't even know where to start. So the Commanders look bad, man. I'm not gonna lie, they look bad in all 3 phases of the game. We're gonna see how that turns out. I mean, the one thing I will say is the Buccaneers, they won the NFC South for 3 straight games, or 3 straight seasons. They actually are a pretty strong team going into the season. Jaden Daniels, I thought he was pretty creative. He actually, the national perception is that he's a run-first quarterback, but I don't think he is. He wanted to pass the ball, but honestly, our wide receivers couldn't get open, and that's going to be a concern for me throughout the year. We're actually going to break down tomorrow. We have a Commanders film room. If you guys really are interested in the Commanders, you want to kind of jump on us all year long, we actually have a podcast at 4:30 with Nick Ackridge from PFF and Mark Bullitt from The Athletic. They actually break down the actual game from. We're going to look at the offense and the defense over there. What I will say about Jaden Daniels is he's a playmaker. I think that basically the Buccaneers were covering the wide receivers that couldn't get open. Jaden Daniels was creating and he was running. He actually ran the ball 16 times yesterday, which I think is too much. I think that's honestly, you can't survive in the NFL running 16 times. But he had 88 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he basically, he was creating on his own. What I did like about it, he was getting down. He wasn't getting hit. He was you guys will watch it in the games. He needs to work on his sliding. He does like a front roll slide.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of worried about
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like weird somersault.
Yeah, so I saw that.
He got He got the RG3 slide.
I hope not. I really hope not in regard to that. So basically, he was creating. I walking away from the game for real talk. I think we have one. I think Jaden Daniels is a quarterback. I think he can guide us in the future. I just think that we don't have enough talent around him right now, and I am concerned about that. Like our wide receivers, we have Terry McLaurin and everybody else. We have Noah Brown. You guys are familiar with him in Cowboys land. We have Olamide Zaccheaus. You know him from Philadelphia. We have Diami Brown from UNC. I'm worried that we're not going to be able to create explosive plays. Cliff Kingsbury, what he did is he tried to insulate Jaden Daniels and try to be more of like let's do some screens, let's do some runs, let's do some read options, kind of doing that. But they weren't necessarily throwing it down the field. And that's one thing that I was worried about. The big stats, I'm always going to be real with y'all. Y'all can talk trash in the chat. It's all good. I love it. I'm all ready for this, but it's all good. The one thing, though, is that one stat that kind of popped out to me was basically we didn't complete a pass further than 10 yards till the 4th quarter, man. And that's that you can't be doing that, right? Like the Buccaneers, they were good. They basically were shutting us down. So I'm worried about that. Defensively, we were generating a pass rush. But did either one of you guys watch the game? Either one of you guys?
I watched the first half. I watched a little bit of the first half. But I'm watching my game too. But I was trying to kind of flip back and forth and kind of keep it up there. But kind of explain that. How did Baker Mayfield get 4 passing touchdowns?
Baker felt like he was going off. He was
going off. Yeah, he was going off because basically what ended up happening was they were generating a pass rush. They were getting down the field. They were blitzing Baker Mayfield, but he was getting loose. He was elusive, and he was exploding and throwing the ball down the field. And what ended up happening was Mike Evans. He did what he does, man. He basically took advantage of Benjamin St-Juste. There was a one-on-one pass down the
bully.
Field, 2 touchdowns. He was a bully. He basically put him there. On defense, the thing this year that I'm kind of worried about is our secondary. I think walking away with that, Emmanuel Forbes, we talked about him on the show early in the year. He's not creating turnovers and he's not a cover corner. So what does he do well? You know what I'm saying? And he's also undersized, so he's not offering run support there. So what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a concern there because they were taking advantage of him and were explosive. So I don't know. The last thing I'll say is Mike Sanders still. I liked him.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn. So Mike Sanders still, I liked him, but he basically he got baptized by fire on the first game as a rookie. He got basically taken advantage of early on. There was Jalen McMillan from Washington had a wide open slot fade in the first quarter. Baker Mayfield missed it. They did it again in the 4th quarter, scored a touchdown, and it happened there. So it was ugly, man. The one thing I will say is the score looks worse than it is. It basically was, I think it was 16-3 or 16-10 going into halftime. Our field goal kicker missed 2 field goals. It could have been a closer game in regard to that. Different game script.
Got his ass cut.
He got his ass cut today.
Damn,
so they got a new kicker in after one day. So
damn.
Yeah, so they cut him after one game. So it is what it is. So all 3 phases of the team didn't look that sharp. But guys, you got to remember, we have our team. We got 23 new players on our team. Yeah. So pretty much half of the new players on the team, new coaching staff, new owner, new everything, new GM. We're a full rebuild. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm ready for the questions.
I will say, when I watched, when I said, Baker was going off, I didn't mean it in a sense of y'all were playing bad. Like, he was playing well. Like I said, every time I saw him, it was almost a perfect throw, perfect situation. Like, the Commanders were there. The defensive backs were there most of the time. He was just making a perfect pass. So shout out to Baker Mayfield. Obviously, I know I live in Tampa, so I was really surprised. I'm not going to lie. He played very well. But my thing is, because you did bring this up and you said that they kind of insulated him, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that. It felt like they, and this might sound dumbed down, but like it felt like they weren't really interested in winning that game. It was more so, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here with some confidence, see what Jaden can do, see where we want to go with it. It didn't feel like, let's win this game. We need to win this game. Do you look at your season a little bit differently now? Do you think that the front office or the staff has a different mentality now? Like, how do you look at this team? Because I thought kind of coming into this year, you did change your whole team and you brought in some pretty good players, some really good coaching staff. So I kind of felt like it was all right, let's go fight. Like, let's go see what we could do. Is that the mentality, do you think? Or maybe not? I don't know how else to.
I'm not going to wave the white flag yet because we're playing the Buccaneers. They were a playoff team last year. You guys are really familiar with them from the playoffs last year. So the Buccaneers are pretty good. So I'm not going to counter it out yet. Like, we weren't favorite. We were playing Tampa at home, at their home. So we weren't supposed to win that game. What I was trying to get at is, I think Cliff Kingsbury wanted to protect Jaden Daniels by giving him easy throws, like screens and like underneath passes. Like, I think there was I believe there was 10 throws within the line of scrimmage. 10 of his completions he was 17 for 24 for 184 yards. He actually was pretty effective in regard to like accuracy, but 10 of those throws were within like 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So it's pretty conservative there. I don't think they gave up. I just think what ended up truly happening was the Buccaneers' run defense was stout. We couldn't run against them. Jaden Daniels couldn't throw the ball because they were covered pretty well, and he put the team on his back and started running too much. Like, we all saw, I'm sure you guys are big football fans. We saw Lamar play the Chiefs and basically how he did too much in that game against the Chiefs, where he was running and doing everything. Jaden Daniels was doing that, and he shouldn't be doing that as a rookie. Like, he was like, I got to take off and run. I got to basically scramble. I got to put the team on my back because my team isn't doing anything. That's what I'm worried about there. Because I think, honestly, one thing, and we talked about it last year, Ron Rivera going into, he's like the worst talent evaluator of all time. As a head coach, like, all the draft that they did with, like, I think we only have one player from the 2023 NFL draft class from last year. They cut every person that he drafted. That's how bad they were. And the only one is Emmanuel Forbes, number 1. And we know how Forbes is playing right now too. So that's the only person on our team. Actually, we have 2. It's Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin, 1 and 2 are the only people there. In regard to the rest of the year, I'm patient. 1L to start the year against a playoff team, 3-time NFC South champion. So I'm going to kind of say the Buccaneers are further along in the process. This game right here against the Giants, we cannot lose this game. If we lose this game against the Giants,
I'm gonna tear you up. Y'all lose to them Giants. I'm gonna tear you. I'm gonna tear you up. I'm gonna tear you up.
Yeah.
I think that realistically, if I'm being 100, and people are killing me in the comments, and I thought this was about the Commander. I'm kind of tired of it, y'all. I'm kind of tired of it. But
they doing me too.
They are going at you too. The James, George, they're being nice to you today. Usually, like, give them a couple weeks, they'll warm up to you. You know what I'm saying? And they'll start screaming at you.
I'm seeing the commodes over and over.
Yeah, they just talking a little bit. Getting their toes wet.
I just want to say we are happy You got Dan Quinn. Keep his ass over there. I just want nothing but. I'm gonna tell you right now, dog. You know what? The more y'all play, and I just see Dan Quinn losing, I love it. I hope y'all don't win
I see my
no
boy
games. But
Trey's in here every single time. Trey Fargo is in
Trey,
every
yeah.
single time.
yeah, Trey don't play. Trey don't play. Trey
He was
don't.
like,
Trey,
he's like, I told you about Dan Quinn, George. So we'll see what's up, man. I mean, it's only one game. We'll see how it plays out. So I don't know.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got over 300 people still in the chat. James, I think, just froze, but it is what it is. I will say, if I'm a Commanders fan and I'm watching you guys, I wouldn't be so upset. I think that you guys had a pretty good first game. I mean, this is the first game of a new quarterback, new system, new everything. So I think that there's brighter days ahead of you. But like you said, if you guys lose to the Giants,
I think you guys, I don't know who actually watched the game in the chat. I know you said you watched a little bit of it. If you watched the game, you watched Jaden Daniels, you're like, damn, he's a player. Like you came away with he's going to make some magic happen for the Commanders this year. The other thing would be like they don't have any wide receivers. Like what are they going to do with that? That's what I'm worried about. I've seen everyone laugh about Noah Brown. I don't have any confidence in him. See, people are like the Commanders fan base, like, oh, Noah Brown's coming back. Like, I'm not, dude. Noah Brown, get out of here. Noah Brown is Dalvin Cook. They're the same person to me. That's how it is. He's not gonna do anything big.
Yeah, that Dalvin Cook comment was. I'm gonna watch that. That's why I asked for the over under on the 500 because I'm gonna watch that. I definitely want to know. But I don't know. James just there we go. Here he comes.
He's coming back.
Yeah, he's right there. All right, perfect. But no,
there he is.
At the end of the day, I think that y'all, you know what I'm saying? I think y'all got brighter days.
That's a good one, Drew.
I want to ask y'all before we do get out of here and we go watch the game real quick, just quickly, thoughts on the Giants. Like, is there any saving this team? Do you think they're as bad as they look? I give them no grace. Me personally, I think they need to move on from DJ. They need to move on. I actually think they have a good head coach. That's the craziness of me. I think that he's a good head coach. He just backed the wrong player. So if somehow you can maybe just give him one more chance with another guy, you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree, George. I agree, Joe.
Drew Lock. They have Drew Lock as their backup quarterback right now.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, bro, y'all don't have nothing to lose. Play Drew Lock. I agree with you, Joe. I actually think Dabo is a good coach. I think he is a good coach. And I think if you can get him a better quarterback, I think I think you should give him another chance without Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones is wrecking any quarterback's career. Any coach's career. Anybody who's coaching the Giants that has him is never going to be successful. You're going to get fired. So don't lay that to him because he didn't draft him. Daniel Jones is a huge, but I can't believe. But I'm happy they did.
Daniel Jones is trash.
They paid him. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the craziest part. He had one good season, and they paid him that big money in regard to that.
And it wasn't even all that good. And that's the crazy part. Yeah. It wasn't even all that great. Like, it was decent.
It was mediocre. That's how much they were reaching. Just show us something here. Here's the money.
I will say Malik Neighbors is a dog, though. Malik Neighbors is a
dog.
But
dog.
I think he's going to hate Daniel Jones. It's going to be like some
toxic
and some beef on the sidelines for sure.
Did you see that interview earlier in the Giants locker room with him?
He was like
Malik Neighbors.
He was kind of like
he was
right?
He was chilling like. I mean, hey, I was getting open, do what I need to do. He being chilling because it's week 1. He probably not run a ruffle feathers. Let's see about week 9.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also want to say one last thing. Bryce Young we had a lot of busts as QBs in the last 5 years, right? A lot of them. Zach Wilson, now you Trey Lance, probably a bust. But Bryce Young, you're headed there. I'm sorry. You're headed there.
The Panthers look real bad.
He is too little.
Yeah.
He is too little. Period. That man is too little. I'm sorry. He Doug Flutie.
Bryce Young catching strays. Look at the random. Bryce Young catching strays.
Damn.
All right, cool. Okay.
He called Dowdle little boy. He was like a little guy.
Okay. Right.
James around for him today, man. I love it. But all right, so we are gonna go watch the game. But I want James. You have one last super chat, and I love this super chat. So I think this is a perfect way to end the show. To be honest with you, because at the end of the day, we are all family. So go ahead and read that super chat.
It says $5 holla big game, James. Cook these guys like you always do. What did he say? I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm a Cowboys fan, but I do respect Joe and George. Don't like this show at all. What do you say? I don't like this show. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. So I appreciate it. Hey, we gotta have responsible content creators. That's what you gotta have in this world now, because there's a lot of irresponsible people out there in content creating, and I feel like us three together, we really try to bring the responsibility of it and talk logical. Even though I may not like Washington or Philly, I will talk logical and we'll give them props when props is due. If you're just coming out there just hating all the time, why are you on the air?
Absolutely. I love being on here. I'm going to have to, if the Commanders lose to the Giants next week, I'm going to have to do the show with the camera off, man. I don't even know what to do. We can't be doing that. Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now, George. I'm gonna be in your inbox. You're losing. If you're losing in that game, I'm gonna be in your inbox. I'm gonna be in your inbox.
I'm gonna be at that game. For all y'all watching, I'm a season ticket holder, row 3. I'm gonna be right.
Put the camera on George, please. Please put that camera on him. Please put that camera on him when they getting their ass kicked. And all we're gonna be saying is Dan Quinn.
I try to tell my girl it's personal between y'all right now. Like y'all got a little I'm just here to I'm here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I get fined. Shout out to everybody calling me a hater. I was today. Okay. That's what I'm
You were.
I even before I came on here, I was like, I don't care. I'm taking Georgia's side. I'm gonna talk just to the Cowboy. I don't give a damn. But look, I love all y'all. I love all y'all. You know, George, you handled yourself like a champ. We all knew you would. It's always fun. This is always fun. This was too much fun, probably. We still got over 320 people in the chat. So love y'all. Y'all killed the chat today. This was hilarious.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
they've been missing us. I love it. We
miss y'all too sometimes. You know, I don't miss
we
when y'all
do.
call me googly-eyed. All right, that we got to bring that person that said I lost weight back. I like that guy. Other than that, y'all got anything y'all want to say to these lovely people before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, just appreciate y'all. Like you said, we had it packed in here today. We hadn't been on, and to see us not be on and come right in, and everybody's in here from Washington to Dallas to New York, to everybody. I just want to tell y'all we love y'all. Let's keep it up. Let's keep going hard. Love the show. Love these guys. And that's it, man.
Exactly right. So thank you for having me, guys. I'm going to be on it every week. Win, lose, or draw. It's a rebuild for Washington. I'm going to be taking my lumps this year, but, you know, happy to be here. It'll be fun. So thank you for having me, guys.
Sir. Yes, sir. We love y'all, man. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Leave a like. Leave a comment. If y'all ever have any content y'all want us to go over, leave a comment and we will try to go over it. So other than that, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know who we are. I am Joe. That's my guy, James. And that is my brother, George. We are the best of enemies. Peace.
Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're